I'm so excited about this episode. It's everything I wanted and more.
Really? Okay.
I love this man.
Also, that was him in drag, wasn't it?
I think so.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
I'm
Oh my
not
god!
100% sure.
Like going back and looking, like that was a chin.
Because
his voice changed at one point too when Aaron was interrogating him.
Yeah, it was like panto drag.
Yeah.
Oh, I that whoosh went over my head. No idea. Didn't know. But that makes sense.
He returned. He finally came back. I'm so happy.
Hi, friends.
Hello, puppets.
Howdy, y'all.
And welcome to Muppet Sex and Trauma. I'm Sara Ezzat. I make the Costume Codex videos on YouTube.
I'm Jack Kramme, editor / right-hand man for Passion of the Nerd and editor for Chipperish Media.
And I'm Josh Gosdin. I'm a fool for love.
And that's more than enough.
Sometimes I like to hold my gaze at the camera and see how long it's going to take for Sara to chime in afterwards.
We've been recording for like 5 minutes. I'm already having a great time. This is amazing.
Good.
So we are gathered here today to mark the return of Moldus.
Nightmare came back to me.
I want to hear from Josh first. Josh, how are you feeling?
We have to episode summarize.
Oh yeah, okay. Summary. Okay, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Picture, if you will, was written by Peter Neal. This is his only Farscape credit. And it's directed by Andrew Prouse, who we've seen several times, including the premiere. Chiana and Rigel are getting some shopping done with the reluctant supervision of Aaron. She takes a liking to a painting, and even the not at all shady trader with the completely convincing accent insists on giving it to her for free. The painting appears to be a portrait of Chiana herself, wearing a necklace that she lost some time ago. I'd say that was odd, but hey, Farscape. Back on Moya, and the crew are in maintenance mode. Pilot warns some systems are on the fritz. And what's this? While doing the maintenance, one of the DRDs found Chiana's necklace. Who could have foreseen that? But as Chiana is marveling at the painting's prediction, it changes. This time it shows her with a broken leg. In shock, she trips and breaks her leg. She's now fully convinced the portrait is prophetic. She and Dargo have a very close conversation about whether it's better to know what's coming or to have hope and be surprised. The crew are all kind of freaked out about the whole situation. Crichton and Aaron have a talk. He says he wishes they could bunker down and be safe from outside threats, while Aaron suggests they would be better off without Chiana and Rigel, and maybe some other people too. Things get heated as they push each other's buttons and push each other away. Dargo, John, and Zahn have decided to take the painting away from Chiana. But they're too late. It's already changed, and it's now showing her on fire. A terrified Chiana begs Dargo to put her in a freezer to keep her safe. But when he does, Moya's glitchy systems causes the freezer to light on fire, and in moments, Chiana is gone. Grief-stricken and pissed, the crew try to destroy the painting. But no matter what they do, burn it, smash it, or space it, it comes back. And now it shows Dargo impaled by a blade. Rushing to remove Dargo to an open space with no blades, they run to the cargo bay, where Dargo is somehow speared by the tip of Aaron's prowler, and he shatters. Suddenly he finds himself reassembled inside the painting. And there is Chiana, alive and well, or at least alive. They're both trapped in the world of abstract art. Back in the world, Aaron and Rigel are returning to the shop to have a word with the not at all suspicious shopkeeper. She wants revenge. He wants compensation. Zahn and John are left alone with the painting, and she is increasingly distraught. Yet when she asks him to trust her, John doesn't hesitate. That's when the painting shows John being electrocuted, and Zahn pushes him into the glitchy defense screen. And now he's in the painting world. But he has an idea who might be responsible. Of course, it's Moldus.
Moldus!
and he can no longer resist the urge to monologue. I'm here, John says, you can take your revenge. But who would want revenge on John? Moldus is after Zahn, and now he pulls her into his world for more monologuing, with a side of torture. But Zahn has foiled him again. Before she was pulled in, she asked Pilot to send a message to Aaron to shoot Kyvan. When Aaron does this, Moldus' illusions start to crumble, and one by one the crew escape from Abstract World, while Moldus wails with the anguish of a diva denied. And later, while nursing her still broken leg, Chiana attempts to explain the plot to Rigel. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but hey, it's Farscape.
Perfect ending. I love that.
So, thoughts?
Josh? I want to know what Josh thinks.
Moldus has returned. All my prayers have been answered. I've been waiting for this moment since the last time we saw Moldus.
And almost every episode, you've been like, is this Moldus?
I was definitely a little obsessed. I will say I was a little obsessed there for a little while. But he came back and he just gave me so much of what I was needing in my life. Emotional security, psychological comfort, food and water. I was just so happy with this episode. And we'll talk about whether or not it was actually good in a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was so happy with this episode.
Yeah, I think for me, I enjoyed it a lot more and retroactively once we got the Moldus reveal. I wouldn't say without Moldus I would have disliked the episode, but it's just, especially as a horror fan, it's a trope I've seen many, many times, like haunted object, people get sucked in. I was like, okay. Like, it was fun, but yeah. But no, freaking great episode, I think. And Moldus is just amazing. Like, the performance, he's so fun, he's so villainous, he's so camp. I freaking love it. Okay. Okay.
Let us have it. It's a fun mess.
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel like it doesn't hold up so well over rewatch.
Okay.
There are some scenes I like, but I'm kind of like what the fuck is actually going on?
yeah, that's fair.
It kind of breaks the world because at least like in the first Moldus episode, at least we knew like John was unconscious and everything was happening in like some weird mind space thing. Whereas I have no idea what the fuck is going on. Like, where does the real world intersect? What the fuck is Moldus's power? What the?
Yeah.
So like,
absolutely fair.
I kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's just my brain, but as much as I enjoy various scenes, and he is a good diva, I kind of I just keep going, what the fuck is going on?
That's fair. That was me until the Moldus reveal.
Like I know when I know it's Moldus, and I know I'm like, what is yeah, because this is on rewatch. I like. Okay. I think a really good, fuck with your brain is like when you rewatch it and you're like, I see what you did there.
Yeah,
I do not see what they did there.
See, in my mind, Moldus is just Q from Star Trek, so I don't question his powers. He just does whatever he does. I don't know.
So I actually feel like he was a little underpowered this episode.
Wow. Okay.
Compared to how effective and terrifying and like good he was in his debut episode. And like in that episode, it required pushing Zahn to the edge of her sanity and her morals. And some dude got vaporized on the side while they were working on it. And it was this coordinated effort and they were shooting at and there was this whole thing. In this episode, Zahn kicked him a lot. And then they shot him with the lasers as he was trying to like breach dimensions. I was getting Star Trek V vibes at the end, and you never want Star Trek 5 vibes.
Dude,
So I was
What
with
does
it.
Moldus need with a starship?
That's a fine question for this episode. I was with it until the climax when Zahn was kicking him and backflipping over him, and then I was just kind of like, that could have been better.
dude, the giant hand was so cheesy and so stupid, but I loved it. I really did. It was dumb, and I thought it was amazing. I felt like I wanted him and Zahn to tussle a little more. She sort of kicks the shit out of him, and then it's done. I expected a little more.
And I wanted some lightning bolts and some glowing eyes.
Part of me feels like they didn't want to do something too final because I feel like we might see him again. So they wanted to leave it a little open-ended.
Sequel hook vibes, and I'm once again going to be hoping and praying and wishing for him to come back. But yeah, no, I enjoyed the horror. It was kind of like watching an episode of Goosebumps at the beginning.
Yeah.
So like it was creepy, but it wasn't scary.
Right. Yeah. At first, I was getting like voodoo vibes. I thought they were doing like a play on voodoo, but it went a completely different direction, really. And as I said, this is a trope you see in horror a lot, and I mean, I have seen it done so much better, but it doesn't necessarily make this bad. I still had fun with this, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And I had fun with all of it, including the climax. Like, as I was like, okay, I was still having a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I wish that I could go with it, but I just like what?
I'm glad you feel that way, though, because if we were all just sitting here going, "Oh, it's amazing, yeah, we love it," that's a boring conversation. So
exactly.
True,
absolutely.
So
like,
you're who
like,
Tiana and Rigel were talking to at the end.
Yeah, I'm like, thanks for the lampshade. That because like if he were Q, you could like if he had that level of mind.
Q is basically a god, right?
Yeah, reality, chaos god powers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wouldn't expect him to be defeated and dispersed as easily as he has been.
Yeah.
Whereas I wasn't a huge fan. I liked what this purpose he serves in that old black magic, but I don't know. There's something about Moldus that just I want to like, and I don't.
Is it the camp? Is it the really?
I love camp. I have seen every season of Drag Race in English language.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot who I was talking to for a second. Like, come on, Jack.
Like, I have seen several recordings of Little Shop of Horrors. I love camp.
You love Rocky Horror, like love it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh God, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about Moldus's brand of camp that just doesn't do it for me.
It's almost he makes you think of like
is he too heterosexual?
I don't know. I don't get hetero vibes from him at all. Not at all. I get.
I was not impressed by his drag.
Yeah, that was weird. See, I didn't get that. You guys mentioned that before we started recording. I didn't get that. That
was our guy Christopher Haywood in drag.
I can't remember who
that's the actor's name, right?
It's not. Drag needs to be more of a gender performance. That's just. That's
because. Doesn't a character? Sorry, go.
Like I don't know how to. Like there is. Drag isn't just man in dress. Drag is
it's a character.
Is gender performance art.
Yeah,
and that was a male actor in a dress.
See, I didn't get that at all, and I was not sure if they were trying to present this character as male or female, because there was both going on. It was very strange. So I think I know what you're saying there.
And I would love to see more gender fuckery in Farscape.
Mm-hmm.
Because why on earth would aliens have the same gender norms we do?
Also, gender fuckery is the best term I've ever heard.
Same, yeah.
Have you never heard of gender fuckery before?
No, but I like it.
Yeah, well, anything with aliens ought to have more gender fuckery.
Right.
Because
that was his name. Yeah.
Yeah. Because why on earth would any society but humans have human gender norms?
Right. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we left that behind in season 1.
Yeah. So any opportunity to like play with it, and Farscape, I think, does have some gender fun. I just don't. So to me, like, I see no reason why, you can't have female characters who present a little male, or male characters who present a little female, or other. Why not? And the answer, the why not is answered by the year 2000. But anyway, so like, yeah, I don't know what it is about this character that doesn't do it for me. I don't know why. He's just not my kind of camp.
Yeah. I can't remember who said it, but one of the characters mentions that, is it Kyvan, the shop lady man? That Kyvan was like some sort of magical manifestation of Moldus's, but now it was Moldus. I don't understand. And then the shop disintegrates along. Like I don't get.
Well, the actor, I think the actor was playing both characters. That doesn't. Okay. I don't know whether that means that Moldus was Kyvan.
Oh, that it was,
or that
Moldus
Kyvan was a projection of Kyvan.
No,
Kyvan was a projection of Moldus.
Yeah, right. I was confused. Okay,
it wasn't Moldus in drag. It was Chris Haywood in drag.
Oh, okay. I understand now. Also,
just like he was projecting the little old man in Black Magic.
Exactly.
Oh, of course. Okay. Cool. I follow now. But yeah, the whole is Christopher Hayward. Yeah. I didn't notice that was him at all. It just whoosh, straight over my freaking head. No idea.
Were you distracted by the awful accent?
Maybe.
I didn't notice that it was Chris Haywood. But at one point when Kyvan leans close to Chiana and is like, "What about that? You could take it for free." I was like, that is quite the chin on this particular actor.
Okay.
And I thought once again we were encountering some more progressive casting, from the show's perspective. And I'm just kind of like going with it. But then with the Moldus reveal, I was like, that was the answer. So it didn't click that it was the same actor. I just thought that we were looking at somebody in drag or a trans woman.
Am I the only person who felt like the shop looked like a giant hamster enclosure? Like the balls and little like
it's a habit trail.
Yeah. That's what it made me think of immediately, which was cool.
And which is what, space vessel stationy things might end up looking like.
That's true. Yeah. It makes
human habit trails.
Yeah.
I got Christmas ornament vibes.
That too.
Oh yeah.
I felt there was a bit of I don't know, like it was skirting too close to ethnic stereotypes. And like, I think it felt like
with Kyvan.
Yeah, because they were playing like fortune teller kind of.
Yeah.
It smacks of Orientalism.
Yeah,
it's the tradition of in Panto and that, and it just.
Or even like a really old school like perception of like Romani peoples, and
that's what I was getting was
it's all bound up in that.
Yeah, I see that. I didn't think of it, but now you've mentioned it. Yeah.
No, I picked up on that. They were treating Kyvan's character as like a traveling, untrustworthy, curios hawking kind of a, where did you get this? I was like, oh, okay. So it's it's an offensive portrayal of Romanis and
it's sort of, it's partly Romani. It's like a bunch of ethnic stuff mixed in a weird melting pot. Because I also got like opening scene of Aladdin vibes.
Oh yeah.
Robin Williams beckoning you closer to the camera.
I love Robin Williams, but that film is quite difficult to watch as a Middle Eastern person
Not
in
admit.
certain aspects. In some ways, it's delightful. It's like delightful and painful. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like candy that hurts when you eat it.
That just sounds bad.
Yeah,
That doesn't sound delightful at all.
That's
You know,
me
like
when I eat
the really sour ones that kind of hurt your mouth a little bit while also
Oh,
being...
see, we've talked about this. I like that kind of food. I like food that melts my
Yeah.
face off.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
like the
that's
spicy
something that is good, but also painful.
See, now I'm thinking jawbreakers, and I don't need jawbreakers because why would I want to break my jaw? Why would I want to break my jaw, Sorry? Why would I want to do that?
Well, you wouldn't, but they don't actually break you. This is a weird tangent.
Jawbreakers are really dangerous. People have like choked to death on jawbreakers.
How did I get us onto this weird?
This is a PSA. Children, eat your jawbreakers with care. Very slowly, carefully.
Right.
Perhaps just lick them a little bit until they shrink.
Why would I want to subject myself? Why would I want to put something that difficult?
Children, do not watch this show.
You don't know that.
Do not watch us if you are small children.
Oh, don't watch us.
Yeah.
No. That's like me with popcorn. Popcorn is fine, but I don't like it enough to spend the next week picking it out of my freaking teeth. So I don't eat it. I don't eat it.
Me neither.
Especially as like
So kids don't
recognizing
eat
that I'm an
popcorn.
autistic person. This is
Yeah.
the weird, the
Like
weird.
sensory.
You've
Yeah.
made an excellent point here, Sarah, and we clearly all took it and ran with it.
I
Yeah.
mean, if I start talking about mouthfeel, we'll go into a whole different level of discussion.
It wouldn't be the weirdest place we've gone though. Let's be honest.
No. So yeah, on that note, something about Kyvan leaves a bad taste in my mouth.
Yep.
Good full circle comment. Really you pulled it all back right there.
I just knew that was gonna
Go on.
something. I'm just admiring the color of the colors that Jack is turning right now.
I'm not. No. Bad Jack. No. Stop it. Nope. Not touching it. Nope.
Oh, Jack.
My apologies to our listeners that they can't see this unless you go on YouTube and see the faces that Jack was making as he tries to restrain himself from responding to my leaves a bad taste in your mouth comment.
I just turned 35, but I'm still a 16-year-old boy in many, many ways, and I'll leave it at that.
I'm 40 fucking 2 and I'm baiting you. So
Well done. Yep.
anyway.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I am not a huge fan of Kyvan. And
That's
I think
fair.
that kind of red colors my perception of Moldus that like I kind of want to go on this journey. But between trying to figure out what the fuck is going on and kind of not really like this kind of not being my kind of camp.
Yeah, I didn't.
Just kind of bounce off of it.
Yeah, as I said, I didn't pick up on the racial undertones. But as a character, Kyvan just didn't really do it for me either. I wasn't sure what they really were trying to do, and I spent most of the time going, "Wait, is this a man or a woman?" I just because they weren't leaning into either.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think the characters referred to Kyvan as a she. I think.
Yeah.
So I went with that, I guess. But it was just an odd experience.
It's a good idea to embrace going, I don't know, and that's okay.
Yeah.
Just generally, I think we are trained our brains too much to do the is this a man or a woman? I don't know.
Yeah,
it doesn't
the
matter.
binary thing. Yeah. Yeah.
They used she, so we'll go with she.
That's also what
exactly.
Chiana and Rigel were telling us at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about the character stuff. Let's talk about Chiana.
Chiana, so I really liked Gigi Edgley's performance here. She played the frantic fear stuff really, really, really well. And I legit like gasped when she broke her leg. And then later on when she was in the freezer and then boom, it burst into flames. Like I was like, holy shit. The only thing is like, now they weren't, it was very obvious that this wasn't going to be a permadeath. And I don't think the creators were going for that, but I would have liked to have questioned that a little bit, because it would have given it more stakes. And how do you do that? Because obviously she's not dead, but it just felt like it was very unceremonious. But if they spent a little more time with it, made it a bit more impactful, maybe I would have liked that. I don't know. I sound like I'm being hypercritical, but that's not my intention. I actually really, really liked it. I just thought
she's the only one you didn't predict was going to die between the two of you.
Oh yeah, that's true. But yeah, she's great. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Anybody else?
I appreciated the kind of the horror aesthetic. She made a really good Scream Girl for the horror movie portion of the episode.
The Scream Queen.
Scream Queen, thank you. And I also liked a lot of the Chiana Dargo shipping that we got this episode. That was cute. I was a little turned off. Hard to put my finger on what was bothering me about her, like not wanting to get rid of the painting, because like it wasn't all that pretty to begin with. It's just a painting.
Yeah.
It was free. Like what? Yeah. Why are you like no? Don't take it away from me. And they had to be like, just take a piece of it. She's like, fine, I can sacrifice a piece. Like, you just got this 5 minutes
and it's not even that good.
Why that didn't quite land for me in a convincing way. And there wasn't any evidence to suggest that she was being influenced by the painting at any point throughout the episode, so I couldn't make that reading on it either. Other than all that, she was a great Scream Queen. Loved the shipping. Fun times with Chion.
See, I don't know how I feel about, let's call them Chiago. That I loved that scene where he went to her quarters, whatever, went to her room and spoke to her and gave her some advice. But then when it takes this romantic turn, I'm like, wait, what the fuck are you guys doing? What? I feel like Chiana and Dargo would be like oil and water. I don't know how I'd feel about that, but then maybe it'd be wonderful. Maybe they are so extreme ends of the spectrum that, the whole opposites attract thing. But I liked how Dargo handled it too, in kind of this like he was kind about it, but still like, no, this isn't going to happen, But the one thing that is again frustrating me, it's like is straight baiting a thing? Like they keep like teasing us. Ship baiting, right? Ship baiting. They keep hinting that characters are going to hook up, and then it doesn't fucking happen. Like we haven't had a legit coupling. We've had some boning, which is great, but and it's like, once again, I've said this so many times on this show, but everyone just wants to fuck everybody else, and cool, but like, just I mean, except for right. That's
he's not a body breeder.
Except for those contradictory times when he was, but yes,
I'm having some really weird mental images. Yeah, I just if you're gonna do it, just do it. Give us a couple, like, for fuck's sake.
No.
Rigel may or may not get laid at some point in the series.
Oh,
no,
wow.
Jack, we can't. No. I am from the school of slow burns.
Oh no, I like a good setup, but like we're halfway through season 2.
We're only halfway through season 2.
I'm sorry, you have to get used to the edging. There will be resolution, but there's quite a bit of edging with this show.
We haven't finished yet. I love a good slow burn. I'm a Star Trek fan. I'm a West Wing fan. I'm a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan. I love a good slow burn. Just
yeah,
give it to me real slow.
so my like they don't need to rush it. I just feel like something should have happened by now, but maybe not. Like maybe it's going to be in the way that they do it, and then I'll freaking love it. But it's like, but to its credit, I do hate shows that hold on to this will they, won't they thing and make it the central like focal point, and they drag it out as long as humanly possible. Like I've been watching a show called Sex Education. It's a wonderful show, but a big part of it are these two main characters going to get together. And like 3 times now, it's almost happened, but then it doesn't. And if it's too drawn out, it just becomes annoying because it's like, I see what you were doing here. You feel like this is your only ace up your sleeve, and you don't want to play it too early.
Yeah,
See,
I
for me,
don't want Friends, but I want Gilmore Girls, you know?
Yeah, for me, it really depends. Like, if the will they, won't they comes from actual character stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rather than feeling the hand of the writer.
Yes.
And I rather enjoy the way that Farscape is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having a blast with it.
And I really like Dargo and Gianna's oil and water opposites attract thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I love, you know, we've got these hints, like the whole thing about maybe it'll show us our future. Like there is a sense that I love that that you know, he's so sure that looking in the future about them is not a good idea. But you know, he's willing to be surprised.
Yeah.
I think like
that was a beautiful moment.
Yeah. Like while I'm not a big fan of this episode, the 2 bits of this episode I am a big fan of is their conversation and Aaron and John's conversation. Because I love this sort of like people who aren't really compatible, but boy, do they want to be kind of thing, because there's going to be drama and interest. You know, in that it's not a good idea, but it's kind of a good idea kind of thing that they have, and like the fact that they are so different in so many ways and yet similar in other ways, and like her being so impetuous seems to push him to be more measured.
I just feel like the dynamic is more like fatherly, and that weirds me out because he was acting rather fatherly in the beginning, giving her advice and
I was not getting fatherly at all.
I don't get father, but I think there is a kind of
mentory then, like kind of like
there's an age disparity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there is a little bit of a mentor-ish relationship, but not in a way that I think makes this icky. He's not like her teacher, but like sometimes, especially when you're young, you know, having a relationship with someone who's older, you know, it may not be a thing that works out in the long run, but you can really learn a lot from it. I mean, not power abusive older, but
just someone with a bit more experience.
Yeah, like
I wasn't getting father; I was getting daddy.
Yeah.
Sara.
Zaddy, even.
There it is.
Thank you.
Zaddy.
Am
I missing something here?
Tentacle Zaddy.
Zaddy is a slang term for a very sexy older man.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Where you're just so taken in that you start slurring your words and you just say yes.
They don't necessarily have to be an older man. There, people of other genders can also have big zaddy energy.
It applies across genders. I didn't realize.
It certainly can when it's the right. It's a sort of masculine quality, but any gender can attain it. Like I think I would say that Kate Blanchett has a bit of zaddy, which is why we are all so very disappointed that she's straight.
I get that. Tilda Swinton too, a little bit.
Yeah.
I get that. Yeah.
As you know, there's something about certain women when they put on a suit, and there is zaddy energy. I'm not one for calling any. I find calling anyone you're attracted to daddy is not my cup of tea.
We're not here to kink shame.
I mean, other people, maybe other people's cup of tea, but not
Some
mine.
people are into it. That's okay. That's okay.
Zaddy is a little different because, yeah.
I will say though, this episode made me realize just how much I'm warming up to Dargo, because that scene with him and Chiana, even though I wasn't really into the romantic vibe, I'm seeing this like this gentle, wise side of Dargo that's really making me happy. I love that we get to see past the tough guy facade, and he's really just a good dude who's just been through a lot, and he's a strong warrior as well. Also, and I'm going to say this every time it happens, he called John his friend again. He did it again. Like, they are legit friends, and I love that.
I love their bromance. The one thing that does annoy me in this episode about John, about Dargo and John and Zahn as well a bit, although she's kind of in a weird space. It does irritate me that they want to take Chiana's agency away. Like, she doesn't. They give up on trying to convince her, and they do kind of when they just. It's a bit paternalistic when they decide, well, we're just going to take the painting away from her. And then it's not the writing that annoys me. It's a quirk of their character that annoys me. That's like, no. We let Chiana have her agency. Just because she can be a brat, I think it's a little bit high-handed. And yes, this painting is dangerous, but
that's the thing.
That's
the only thing I would say at that point. She was enamored with an object that was causing a lot of damage and was dangerous. So I see what you're saying, but
I just the way that it happened, and then the way they're just like, and Dargo's just like totally paternalistic attitude of, we're just going to take it away from her. This is okay.
Yeah. I mean,
it makes sense for his character, but it's a little bit.
I see what you're saying, but I still think that had to happen. I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't begrudge anybody taking away like a weapon from somebody or something like, or like a leaking sieve of acid, if we're going to talk about something that's passive but dangerous. If somebody was like, no, this is my acid as they're getting burned, and no, just give me that bowl. Like, I was actually pleased with that, because it was very much like it was self-aware writing. The writing wasn't dragging it out. It was like, no, these characters have seen enough, they've been through enough, they're not fucking around. Give me the damn painting.
Yeah, I think it's them having a conversation about how they've decided it's time to take it away from her was a little. There was something about it that felt paternalistic to me in a way, like she is an adult, she's a brat, and she doesn't always know what's best for her, but she is still an adult.
Yeah, I getcha. Yeah, they could have done it better, I guess.
Yeah.
No, I won't begrudge your perspective, nor do I think it's insignificant that you're more bothered by it than Jack and I are.
And I don't actually want them to change it in the writing. I feel like it's something that irritates me in their character, but it makes total sense for their character.
Yeah.
This high-handedness. This is me being annoyed in world.
So you are Chiana then.
Well, just like I feel like Chiana needs. I think she needs to be allowed. She treats herself a bit too much like a child. I think she needs to be.
Yeah, she is someone that could be taken advantage of pretty easily.
Clearly.
Yeah. So I get what you're saying. Yeah.
This is a in-world annoyance is that they're a little bit paternalistic, particularly Dargo, and Chiana acts more childish than she is.
No, but what I mean also though is, and I'm calling myself out here a little bit, like that you're more bothered by it even in the universe than Jack and I are, I think is probably lends weight to your botherment, because Jack and I are the patriarchy, and so being paternalistic and being like, no, this is for your own good is something we were socialized with.
Yeah.
It is something that makes me incandescent with rage when people do that to me. I will stipulate to your point, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. The things that annoy me. I shouldn't tell the world just how, anyway. Being patronized is just not a fun experience.
And yet we have a Patreon.
Yes.
Details
you can Patreon me all you want at either the
Patreon me.
Oh yeah,
there we go. Oh yeah,
Zaddy.
But do not patronize me.
No. That's daddy, and we don't want.
Are our patrons patronizing us?
Technically,
yeah.
Patroning,
according to English.
They're supporting, and we love them for it.
We appreciate our patrons so much.
Yes, thanks, guys.
This has been a commercial for you guys.
And we weren't able to get together to react to this episode, but Jack and I reacted to an episode of Stargate, one with Vala in it, because we wanted to marvel at Claudia Black's range. So we watched season 9, episode 4 of The Ties That Bind, which was just kind of has similar vibes to this episode.
Yeah. Although I would give my left leg to have seen Josh's live reaction to this.
I texted these guys as I was watching it. I was like, Moldus!
Yeah. Actually,
schedule just didn't make sense once, an illness and stuff. So
I just realized the person in the wheelchair saying they would sacrifice their left leg. There's not a lot of stakes in that.
You're already in
Come
a position
on,
to say that.
But I like my legs. I don't use them all that much, but I like them.
Jack,
and you'd have half the opportunities for nice footwear.
Jack, I want you to know that you said that, and I just rolled with it.
There we go. Well played, sir. Well played.
See, neither you just don't have a leg to stand on.
Right? Absolutely. Yeah.
You guys are savage. I love it. This is great.
That's my one. I'll be banking my goodwill with Jack for the next year.
You guys, I love you both immensely. It's all shits and giggles, baby, until someone giggles and shits.
I've never heard that before. I'm gonna use that.
I stole it from somewhere. It's not mine.
I'm gonna use that. I'm using it.
Yeah.
Hey, were we watching an episode of Farscape or something?
We keep going off topic on this one, but so I don't mind.
With the
this
theme.
is the tangenty, because the world makes no sense in this episode.
It doesn't. It's fun, but it's nonsense.
Okay, can I tell you when John was like, he's a vampire, immediately in my head, I went, the world is a vampire.
Ooh, and I just watched Interview with the Vampire.
Very different vibes.
Oh,
very
so gay.
Very
that's my version of camp. The new one.
We'll talk about it elsewhere. We can't start talking about that, or else I won't shut up. I'm enjoying it, but I've got issues. I've got some issues. Is all I'm going to say. But all right,
it's different, but I like it.
I like it too, but I just no. Stop, Jack. Stop. Okay? No, we're here to talk Farscape, not Interview with the Vampire.
If patrons request, we might do Sara and Jack discuss all things Anne Rice and Interview with the Vampire.
Sure, I'd be down for that if you guys want to hear that.
Yeah, well, I don't know that Josh wants to participate in that.
I've never been that deep into Anne Rice, so y'all go for it.
Josh is too straight for this conversation.
Thanks.
I mean, I'm straight too, but yeah.
Of course you are, baby.
Hey, what does that mean?
That you have a little gender fuckery in you, even though I know that it's women that you like.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know. When I hear straight and queer, I always relate it to what you're attracted to, but there's a little more to it than that. Yeah.
Anyway, that was the
Yeah.
whole. We're just
Tangents.
tangenting and tangenting
Yeah.
and tangenting. So let's talk about John and Aaron's conversation, shall we?
Which conversation? Sorry.
I want to shut all the doors. I want to throw everyone out.
Oh, that one. Yeah, I've got that in my notes. She says, if I hadn't had it my way, I'd throw Rigel off the ship and maybe Chiana too. I can kind of understand where she is coming from. I really can, because especially Rigel, I love that little shit, but he's tried to screw them so many times, and I'd be willing to bet he's gonna try and screw them again. So I kind of get it, you know.
See, in my notes, I have that we kind of see a little bit of his worth in the beginning of this episode because we see what a good negotiator he is and how utterly hopeless Aaron would be at it.
Okay. Yeah, but that's because he likes to haggle.
Yeah.
Because he's greedy.
That is a useful skill when you need shit.
Yeah, that's true.
You need food. It is useful to have someone who can haggle.
True. That's a good point.
I thought it was kind of douchey of John to say, and would you throw out Pilot too after the last episode?
Yeah, that's kind of shitty, isn't it?
Yeah,
okay.
It was.
So there is a bit of a continuity issue here.
Oh, okay.
This episode is usually aired in the order that we watched it, but in the production order, it was produced beforehand. There were issues with how long it took to get everything ready for this episode. This is the episode that resulted in Crackers Don't Matter being ready.
Oh. So
it ends up coming after The Way We Weren't. But the writing they were sort of written at the same time. So there are some character inconsistencies that, that ended up with usually they're super consistent. But it's the nature of this one just being so complicated to film that it ended up in this weird place. And, which should have been written first, because it makes more sense in certain character stuff had it come before The Way We Weren't.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish I'd read that before but I wish that had come up in my research earlier. It didn't come up in the research for The Way We Weren't, because I would have switched the order we did them in. Although that would be complicated because it's always in the playing order of the people find them, that it's, in the order of all the things, it's usually The Way We Weren't first. But yeah, that does make a little more sense.
But this is the order that it's in the Farscape guide that you're using?
Yes.
Weird.
Because that did feel like a slap in the face. It really did.
Yeah, that was a shitty thing to say.
Yeah, I kind of enjoy the fact that they're both being shitty to each other.
No, I'm saying that was a shitty thing to say in the context of the previous episode.
Yeah. I don't
think they were being shitty to each other. I think they were both just like dealing with their usual boundaries and barriers. And that conversation wasn't nearly as important or pivotal to me as the one after Chiana's death. When she's in Pilot's den and John storms in and is like, when are you going to let somebody in? Like, when are you going to stop pushing somebody away? Obviously he's talking about himself, but
I think that the two conversations are kind of one conversation split in two with a big.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that's just there's a script continuity issue. Because because of this production mess, because they talk about what a nightmare this was to film. Because of course, Chris Haywood had to play to blank spaces.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going on for everybody when they were on the big glass screen thingies.
Yeah, all of that was super complicated to film. The sets were complicated to build and all thing. This just kind of, but that's how we got Crackers Don't Matter. So
Yeah, which is I love that
worth
episode so
everything,
much.
worth everything, under the sun, because that is fabulous television. But yeah, that means that comment about Pilot just ends up landing extra shitty.
Yeah. Can I just say quickly, I loved inside the mirror how everybody's the painting inside, everybody's faces were like warping, and John's in particular kept making me laugh. I uploaded some screenshots to my Twitter. It was just,
I saw that.
It was so funny to me. I'm like a 16-year-old boy. I find stupid shit really, really funny. Yeah.
I hadn't noticed until you put I've watched this a few times and I hadn't noticed, but when you put the screenshots and when I watched it again, I noticed.
Was it when his face was all squished?
Yeah, squished in and then like elongated and stuff. I'll send them to you. It kept cracking me up. It was really funny.
It worked really well with Moldus's makeup.
Yeah.
Like with his character design, it made him look fucking creepy.
His costume in this was excellent. I love the Shakespearean ruff and the chiffon cape.
The actor seemed a little uncomfortable because he kept holding his arms like C-3PO. But I like his character design and all that kind of stuff was great. But anyways, John and Aaron, yes, have boundaries and barriers and they need to work through.
Yeah. Yeah. But, John wanting to hide from the world and Aaron wanting to push it away is kind of an interesting. There's a lot of opposites attractiveness in the ship baiting in this episode.
Ship baiting.
Do we talk about Zahn?
Yes.
Let's talk about Zahn.
So I found myself kind of yelling at her through most of the episode because I'm like, say something. You're going through shit. Say something. And look, we get the reveal at the end that she couldn't because it would have given it away and screwed out everybody. So I appreciate they did that, or else I would be still frustrated. I would be still frustrated because that's one of my pet hates when a character, for most of the time, it's used for conflict. They don't say something to create conflict. I hate that little trope thingy. But also I loved seeing her kick the shit out of Moldus, even though it was brief. I loved it.
Yeah, it was I really liked that they brought back her and John's banging times and used that as like a communication avenue and just a continued bond and stuff like that. Like that was a really good callback that I really appreciated. I loved. I could hear the whispers before the subtitles gave it away that were actually saying "Pose on." Yeah,
I heard that. Yeah,
like her being haunted by Moldus, like that was really good too. And just kind of the gradual erosion of her sanity.
Did you guess who it was?
I didn't guess who it was.
It's obvious now though, isn't it? I'm like, how really did I not know? Yeah,
I didn't, because I mean, honestly, like I've been hurt too many times. I didn't want to get my hopes up. Yeah,
and I'm not going to tell you whether he comes back or not.
Good. Don't want to know.
And I couldn't. I just definitely was in a very let's just like, all right, we'll just go with it kind of a thing that it turned into a kung fu fight with Moldus in his warped reality sphere. I wanted more, and I don't know. Like I was saying before,
it was cool, but it was very, very brief and just over very, very, very quickly. And then we get the giant hand thing, which was stupid but great for me.
Anyway. How do we get out of this? Shoot it.
I wanted lightning bolts. I wanted freaking laser beams. Like I wanted something
screaming.
You wanted even more of a production?
Yeah. I mean, if
when they broke the budget on this one,
and that's what
I wanted Darth Vader to come out and pick him up and throw him down the hole.
Something, yeah. Like after the setup in his premiere episode of how powerful he was, that's why I say like Moldus felt underpowered in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted more, and I was very happy with what I got. Like I said, I had a blast with this episode. And as far as Zahn goes, also like she this is the Zahn I've been craving for so long. She finally gets to do something.
Yeah. And we do get a subtle hint of her darkness again, too, a little bit.
Exactly. She finally gets to do something that makes sense for her character. Like, Sara, you've been talking her up since we've been watching the show. And this is maybe the third time that I've seen the Zahn you've described.
Yeah. I think the thing with Zahn is they struggle to. The amazingness of the makeup tends to work against how much filming time they can do, and that causes issues.
Yeah, I noticed this episode she had some extra costuming on, I think just to save time on the makeup. There's no other reason why they would have done that, really.
There was I could swear it was a blooper when John picks up Zahn and starts running with her over his shoulder. Virginia Hay grabbed her collar.
Oh, okay.
When John threw over her shoulder, and I was like,
we're gonna see more Zahn with a lot of covering and sort of trying to find cheats with the makeup and
I think this is the first episode we've seen it done to such an extent, right? Or have we seen? Because I don't think we've seen that collar before. Or maybe
she's had the collar for a while.
Okay.
But she hasn't gotten disrobed as nearly as often as she used to in the first season.
Correct. Yeah.
And the muumuu was new. I like her muumuu. Apart from the neck thing, I don't want anything. But I love them.
Yeah.
The rest of it,
I don't like skivvies. I don't like skivvies for that reason. It feels too like
skivvies.
Oh, you guys don't use that term. That's like the turtleneck shirts, the one that come right up to your neck.
Okay, because in the UK, skivvies means underwear.
Of course it does. Not surprised at all.
So I'm like, why would they be on your neck?
I don't like a tight pair of skivvies.
I don't want to kink ship you.
I don't like a tight pair of
tight skivvies do not usually bother your neck.
Yeah, they bother other places. But point stands.
God, we're both 12.
Yeah, skivvies we call them.
Okay. Turtlenecks. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You seem so exacerbated, Sara. Like, yeah, okay.
No, because I'm trying to my own brain. I'm like, no more being 12.
But I did like the soundscapes of Zahn, hearing the voices and stuff. That was done really well. I really enjoyed that. And yeah, there was, again, I was frustrated because we even kept getting like close-ups of a face where she's clearly worried and distressed. And I'm like, say something. But then, I know she couldn't, and I know why. But at the time, it was really, really pissing me off.
See, what's funny is I both love and hate those if the character just said something plots, because when it's in character and for like a character reason that prevents the character, some internal flaw that prevents them from communicating, I love it.
Yeah, sure.
Because then it's a genuine character thing. When that character reason isn't there, then it's annoying as all fuck.
And that's the thing. And personally, I feel like 99% of the time, that's what we see. That we don't see the latter very, very, very often at all.
I kind of like the caretaker who doesn't allow herself to be taken care of. I think that feels like a genuine thing.
Yeah. I guess. Yeah, no, I get you.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't want to spoil things, but I also don't want to set your expectations too high.
Yeah, okay.
There are frustrations with Zahn's journey.
Okay.
That are a side of everyone's control, and we will get to them when we get to them.
Okay. Oh, also, seeing her literally get stepped on was tough, man. That was awful.
Yeah.
I really didn't like that.
Fucked.
That was
speaking of
so
sound
brutal.
design, like the sound of
Yes. Oh, that was awful.
Yeah. But also speaking of Diva, Moldus and his platform black leather boots.
Uh-huh.
That kind of cracked me up too.
Yeah, those are certainly something.
So yeah, no, I enjoyed this version of Zon that we finally got again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little, I don't know. I guess I'm waiting for some consistent growth or some consistent change in Zon. Like Jack has alluded to a couple of times, like she's had a hints of a couple of different character arcs.
Yeah,
that haven't really been followed up on. She's been touted as this like uber compassionate character and is constantly not. And I want this.
Yeah.
Song. And especially her last scene with John when she was like, it wasn't an act, John, about her fear. Like that was like, more of that vulnerability and insight and courage, like, that was so good.
I'm particularly wanting to see this dark side more, the whole Anakin Skywalker at the Jedi Temple, like dark side. Like I want that. Yeah. But I guess we'll see what happens, I guess. Don't tell us.
there are going to be moments that are delightful and moments that are frustrating.
Sure.
Okay.
It's a TV show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm expecting that with everything.
So yeah, that's the best way that I can put it. And there will be more stuff we discuss when we get to it. Like I think my favorite Zon is moments like, when she tried her best with the guy in Throne for a Loss. The Tavlek, even though it didn't work.
Yeah.
That sort of that was
good.
Trying, and I kind of enjoy the sort of way that I enjoy that she has this priestess thing, but that also like there's a selfishness in her spiritual quest that is acknowledged. So like when we had Mind the Baby and the scene with her and Aaron, like stuff, those, I don't know. I enjoy Zon when she's conflicted and there's, depth. I like someone who wants to be the healer and the ever compassionate.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
But she wants to always be that person with the Tavlek kid, but you can't actually always be that person.
You want it to be complex, otherwise it's just kind of boring. Like it's just one dimensional if she doesn't have more complexity to it.
Yeah, and I think sometimes the writers manage that complexity, and sometimes it ends up being a bit of a mishmash.
There's got to be something to the notion of male writers trying to write women about why this. To me, I'm listening to you describing a character that I don't see. I don't see depth in Zon. I see inconsistency. I don't see a character who wants to be a healer. I see a character who lacks the self-awareness and thinks she is a healer and thinks she is compassionate.
Okay.
Like I don't see conflict. I see shallow inconsistency most of the time when I look at Zon.
Yeah, I can see that reading because I think that like the piece, I think both are there because I think some writers write her with depth and the trying to be, and some writers as the writer as sort of the more like inconsistent as you think. And I think, I think I think they don't really know what they want to do with it.
Yes.
It's like,
they aren't getting on the same page.
It's like there is one character and they're trying to pull her in 3 different directions, but they're not actually
Yes.
sure which direction they want to take her in, and it's just, dude, just pick one. Just go with it, you know. Otherwise, you get, as Josh is pointing out, a character that feels very inconsistent, and it's almost like, because like Dark Zahn is a completely different person to the other Zahn. Like it's like a different character, and that's where the inconsistencies come from, or part of them anyway.
I loved the Zahn that we got the first time we met Moldus, and I loved the Zahn that we got when she went to the Delvian temple with the tree.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and made the unity with John. Like I wonder if, and I'd have to go back and look, or you'd have to check your notes, Sarah. I wonder if the same writer or sets of writers had hands in each of those, because both of those episodes obviously got callbacks in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so this writer hasn't written for Farscape before.
That's right. You did say that.
He mostly writes sitcoms.
Oh, wow. Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense. There's something about this that does feel very sitcom-y.
There's quite a bit of Home and Away in his IMDb.
Home and Away? What? Oh my God. I am both amazed and disgusted. You guys don't know what Home and Away is? It is this god-awful. It's a god-awful soap that's been running for the last 30 odd years, probably close to 40 now, and it's trash. It's even gotten worse.
It's kind of Australia's Corey, isn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. We had Neighbours, which just ended, and Home and Away is like the last one left. It's kind of like Days of Our Lives if it was aimed at like a younger audience, like a much younger audience, because it centers around this town called Summer Bay, and it's all like surf and sand and sun and all that stuff, and it's the cast is
Degrassi.
Like, yes, actually that would be a good comparison, yeah. And they're just just full of like
I love my generation of Degrassi. I grew up with those.
Oh, it was good
with the junior high kids.
Yeah, but Home and Away is pure garbage. I hate it.
Hey, let's not. Everybody has to start writing for something, and you know.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not faulting the writer at all. I'm faulting the show. No. Dude, if I was offered a role on Home and Away, I'd take it, because why the hell not?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you have to make pre-processed.
Exactly. Yeah.
American cheese, because some people like it, and
let me be clear.
The sort of writing equivalent of American cheese, which is not cheese, but is a thing.
I'm speaking in jest mostly, and this is no shade at the writer at all. Good for him, absolutely.
Yeah,
maybe then he picked the Zahn episodes that he liked.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely sifting for the Zahn pieces that I like, and when we come to the end of her arc, whenever that is, we will talk about how we feel about the journey looking backwards.
Yeah, but this episode did have kind of a weird sitcom-y vibe to it. It really did. Just the way it was structured. So that makes a lot of sense.
Particularly we've got the ship baiting.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. I did like, though, the whole aspect of like Zahn with Moldus literally stepping on her, and she was like terrified and afraid, but then she chooses to fight back, and made me think of like Buffy in Chosen, like, get out of my face. Or they're coming part 2, me. Like beautiful. I loved that. That was great.
Yeah, the moment when she was like, so am I, and like jumps up, I was like, yes,
that little spitty thing, that was freaking cool.
And then she kicked him, and I was a little bit like, okay, but like I said, I went with it.
I love John's willingness to just trust her no matter what.
I loved Aaron's willingness to just trust John no matter what.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And I did like the bit where they touch heads and she's communicating with him telepathically. I just thought that was neat. I liked it.
I also liked Rigel as good cop to Aaron when they went back and confronted Kyvan.
I wish he had been more useful in that situation.
John?
Rigel.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he kind of felt a little sidelined this episode for the most part.
I know his abilities are limited because he's a puppet, but I do think he plays an important role, not just that he offers the, plot vending machine.
Yeah, the conflict vending machine, yeah.
Yeah. Which works because it's consistent with his character that he's a plot vending machine, because it's his pure selfishness that does it. But he does care about Chiana in his way. I like his little speech about how she's like him and she would want compensation. Like that is, an impassioned speech as far as Rigel goes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It was a good little character moment. I loved it.
But I want, because of that, I want him to actually be useful in the confrontation. And he sort of plays good cop, but he isn't actually able to be like useful, because the solution is just shoot him. Her. Even.
Well, and like also there wasn't a need for a good cop or a bad cop, because ultimately Kyvan was just another way of Moldus messing with him. Like even like the misdirect of Kyvan being like, he's so powerful, he made me do it, is just Moldus fucking with him.
Yeah. I did have one thought. So Moldus kind of threatens everybody or gets under their skin by kind of exposing them to their greatest fears, or at least something close to that. Like he threatens Dargo with Jothi, and then he gets to John, and then he threatens 6 billion people on Earth. I was like, okay, like sure, he doesn't want Earth destroyed, I guess, but like that's very vague, man. Like threatening the entire planet. I mean, say something about his dad or something a little more personal. That just kind of fell flat for me a little bit. But I liked the idea of that scene. I like the idea. I just think that the execution was kind of shit.
Yeah, we need specificity.
Yeah. See, I liked it because it's very in keeping with John's fish out of water character.
Yeah. Yeah, because like if Moldus destroys Earth, he can't go home, kind of thing.
Well, I took it more as like John is painfully aware that nobody on Earth is prepared to deal with Moldus.
Oh, okay.
Let alone understand Moldus, like because John is so out of his depth.
Yeah,
and he comes from a planet of 6 billion people who don't believe in aliens. Like he's Moldus's threat is John at that moment felt the weight of the whole Earth on his shoulders. Like he was the only defense of Earth. So I like that from a character perspective.
No, I like that. That's actually pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, I think just the way that you do it, I think a little more specificity could have worked better. Like not imagine me on Earth, but imagine me walking down Main Street kind of.
Yeah. Or like, I'll start with your father and then I will kill the rest of them, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, it's still a fun scene though. Yeah. It's just
that whole sequence in the upside down or wherever the hell they were. I was just I just loved it.
Yeah. No, I like the way Dargo sort of hulked out. That was cool.
And like Dargo figured out the mechanics of the world and tried to warn John. Like that, like once again, he's a smart dude. And Chiana taking the piss out of Moldus, being like, "You look so tough. The bigger the talk, the smaller the action."
Yeah, that was great. Yeah.
Very Chiana.
And it was great too because she wasn't there last time, and so she doesn't have the same like level of context as the rest of them do. And so I feel like her presence was also really grounding in John being like, he feeds on fear, so don't be afraid. And Chiana being like, he looks so tough. Like it worked really well. It balanced.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that too.
And I loved the design of the upside down. It was so fun. It was so good.
It was really like surreal, abstract. Like, yeah, it was very cool.
Yeah, abstract art world.
I like that a lot. And just the fact that it was set up like a maze, you go through one doorway and you don't know where you're gonna end up. And they were like they were separated but not. It was very cool.
It was an MC Escher world.
Yeah. The one thing I think about production that could have been better is the painting itself.
Yeah. It was kind of shit. Like I wouldn't want that hanging in my house because it was ugly. Yeah.
It looked cheap.
Plus, how were they supposed to get a chip off of this glass thing?
Yeah, exactly. Without breaking the whole thing.
Yeah. I think that maybe the production people and the script people kind of needed a little more in communication with each other.
Yeah, I just get the feeling they were trying to make something look alien, I guess, but it just, even like the images on them weren't that good. The images were kind of shit. I don't know.
They were a little cheesy.
Yeah, it felt like something from Babylon 5, and I adore Babylon 5, but it's very, very early 90s.
Okay.
And this looked, or Babylon 5, or like something out of Quarks, both of which is like the 90s trying to think what the future would be like, and you get the. So yeah, like it just felt meh. It just didn't.
I
work.
feel yeah.
Like that period of it felt like something out of Quantum Leap's Imagined Future.
Yes.
Except it needed more lights.
Yes. More like LEDs. Yeah.
Yeah. See, Josh gets my it looks like it came out of Quarks reference, and you get my it's Quantum Leap reference.
Yeah. So we're all on the same page now.
But I mean, as always, this is laying the track as you run the train. So not everything is going to come together. But that's critics still going to critic. So
absolutely, that's what we're here to do. So
yeah. So does anyone have anything on theme?
Not really.
Pretty straightforward.
Yeah. I also did have this thought of like, why don't they go back to the hamster enclosure and just like, dude, what the fuck? They never thought to do that until, well, I guess Aaron does right at the end, but it's just like, what? Oh, I also loved how like she just immediately shoots Kyvan, not a second thought, but just like boom. Like she didn't fuck around. That was very, very cool. That was very like Terminator-esque or something. I like that.
But anytime a trader gives you something for free, you should think.
Exactly.
I mean, I admittedly I have gotten things for free in bazaars before, in Egypt, but that's because Egyptians with blue eyes sometimes get.
Okay.
that was literally and besides, like we ended up buying something else. That was that was partly the guy flirting and partly we did end up buying something because I didn't want to be indebted to the guy. But generally, as a rule, if someone who makes their living off of selling things gives you something for free,
it's suspicious.
It's suspicious.
Yeah.
If John had been with them on the Christmas snow globe, he would have caught that.
And I think Kyvan was pretty insistent too, from memory. Like really like pushing with
she
it.
Absolutely was, yeah.
Yeah. It's not, yeah. If it's like sweetening a deal, that's part of bargaining. But just, no, I want you to have it. You must have it. No, this is a fishy situation.
Exactly.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah. Also, like I said, it's just not that good of a painting. It's just not.
Yeah.
Like I would have been like, oh, thanks, and then tried to give it to someone else because.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, Chiana, let it go. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, like I think it's a fair observation that Chiana hasn't been gifted many things in her life, but still.
Well,
yeah.
And Moldus is in a unique position to make that observation.
Yeah.
To capitalize on it.
But yeah, it's very don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
Yeah.
Don't be suspicious.
But in terms of theme, yeah, I don't really have anything. It's all pretty straightforward, as Josh said, I think.
Wasn't a lot of subtext to the text.
No. It was all very much text.
I think that the sort of idea of would you like to know the future? If you could know the future, would you? If you had a magic mirror, would you look at it?
Yeah.
It's not very deep subtext, but it's kind of an interesting thing, especially like when there's sort of a bubbly potential of romancy stuff. I mean, like where are the two of you on it? If you had a magic mirror that would show you stuff from your future, look, don't look.
I mean, see, that's the thing. It depends what, like, if I was able to know the exact moment I'm gonna die, no, I wouldn't want to know that, because I'd be constantly thinking about it. It would always be in the back of my mind. But like lotto numbers, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, especially if you don't get to choose what you see in the future.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, ultimately, I think ultimately no, because it takes some of the fun out of it, I guess.
I'm good. I've done that before.
You've seen the future before?
I have, yes, and it didn't turn out how I thought it was going to. And
okay,
so I'm good.
Story?
I'm curious.
Maybe you'll tell us offline.
Yeah.
I don't know. I used to really enjoy like occult stuff when I was younger. And I have a couple decks of tarot cards, but I've never. I think that's a little that's different than seeing
that's
anything
vague and interpretive. I think tarot cards, especially.
Yeah, and I actually always found that it's more like you find when you do a thing, it's more like the connection between the two people, and it's like looking at an ink blot and going, "What do you see?" And a conversation comes out of that. But like actually seeing the future. If I had a mirror, god damn, it would be tempting. I would have to break it because like it would just gnaw at me I wouldn't want to. I have an intrusive thought problem.
I would have to take steps to remove the temptation from myself.
Yes. Like I would be I would be like, Dargo, take this away from me because I can't help myself, which would, still be me having agency.
I think I would use it for trivial things like, okay, what time is this delivery going to show up today? Like stuff like that. Because I hate sitting here all day waiting for a delivery. It's the anticipation of it. So if I knew exactly when it was gonna come, I think I'd like
You need
that.
like a delivery specific mirror to the future.
Yes, just to tell me trivial shit. I don't want to know the big stuff. I'm happy to just wait and see what happens there. But I also subscribe to the Kyle Reese, Sarah Connor school of thought in no fate but what we make. And even because I delved into tarot cards a little bit when I was a teenager, and I remember reading somewhere too that the cards are not set in stone. You can alter because we have free choice, free will. So you can always alter your path. So, and I'm a big believer in choice, I guess, because you have a choice. You don't have a good choice, but you have.
You have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an existentialist, so I don't actually believe that, but it's as an intellectual exercise. It's curious.
Yeah, it's fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a younger version of me that had a little more belief in actually being able to predict things, and
the whole psychic thing. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I still believe the quote from Hamlet that there are more things in heaven and earth than I dreamt of in your philosophy.
That's beautiful. I love that.
But
I just doubt our ability to understand it.
Yes, exactly. Like, if that was written 600 years ago, it's still fucking true. But as to actually, if we lived in this world where there was actually a mirror on the future, I don't want to look at it, but my intrusive thoughts would get the better of me. So someone else better take that thing away from me.
It would be tempting. It would
when I tell them to. So yeah, I don't know. Not really much depth beyond the like that. Yeah, and it is always interesting how different characters respond to fear.
Yeah.
So I think it is time for favorite parts.
Favorite parts, I really like Zahn overcoming her fear and kicking the shit out of Moldus, even though all of the things Josh said, it could have been better. It could have been lightning and thunder and just better all round. I think that was my favorite part, because I lived in that, like, hell yeah, like I was like really excited when that happened. What about you guys?
Definitely the reveal of Moldus. Like I when I texted you guys, I was sitting on the couch going, fuck. I was just very excited. I was thrilled. My man returned to me, and he brought everything that I wanted and more. Sara?
I'm going with Tentacle Zaddy and and She-Girl. They're like, is this a thing? This could be a bad idea, but could be a fun idea. That's the subtext of the conversation right there. This could be bad, but it could be fun. And I like you know what? I like the ship. I'm boarding the ship.
Chargo?
I don't. No, it's. I don't think it's a. I think this is one of those. I don't know. I know too much, but I enjoy the.
That's the thing. I can see you squirming there, like, oh shit! How do I say this?
How do I back out? No, I think this ship is an interesting ride.
Well, what's the official name?
I don't know if there is an official name.
I like Chiago. I really do.
Chiago's good. Yeah.
Yeah, Chiago works.
It sounds like a really like high-end cheese.
Yeah, or like a
Italian sausage.
Exactly.
Or like a suit from Morocco or something, like a Moroccan brand of formal wear.
See, I think I'll have a little bit of prosciutto, a little bit of Chiargo, a little bit of Chianti.
Or something you'd name a really beautiful Arabian horse.
I ate his kidney with a nice Chianti and Chiago. Sorry.
Never be.
You forgot the fava beans.
Oh, the fava beans, of course. I apologize.
Of course. This is sacrilege. Fava beans. It's
been a while, okay? It's been a while.
Oh no, fava beans are just a really big thing in Middle Eastern cuisine.
Oh, okay.
It's called fava. If we lived in proximity to each other, I would have already made you some.
Incredibly kind.
That's why I always find that moment with that Hannibal Lecter quote weird, because I'm like, no, I know the taste of fava beans way too well for this quote. I've never eaten liver because I've been a pescatarian since I was 11. So I have no memory of what liver tastes like, but I know far too well what fava beans taste like for this conversation. For that quote.
The closest I'll eat to liver is pate. Anything else? No, I'm good.
This is a weird conversation overall. We've gotten into some odd territory, including now we are talking about cannibalism.
Well,
no, we weren't.
Wait,
we were talking about pate.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
Well, the quote from Hannibal Lecter is about eating someone.
Yes, but then you said you'd have fool, and I'm assuming that the fava beans you're referring to didn't come with a side dish of man.
No, but the fact that he's talking about the being with man just makes that quote weird because it's like, no, I'm too familiar with the taste of fava beans. This is a weird.
Yeah, I said kidney, but it is liver. The line is liver.
You want a shovel? I'll just give you a shovel and make it easier for you.
What? Sometimes your brain goes to weird places when you watch movies.
Yes.
Yep.
Or when you quote them. And this is a very, very strange place we're in.
It's almost like Moldus has trapped us.
It's almost like nothing makes sense because nothing about this episode makes sense.
Am I stuck in limbo? Did I die and this is like my purgatory?
I was waiting for something like that in this episode.
Yeah,
because I'm okay with it. I'd sit here and talk shit with you guys for all eternity. That's fine. I'm okay with that.
But yeah, I am on board with the ship. I think it shall be an entertaining.
It might be.
Ship.
Yeah.
I know, Jack, you're unconvinced, but
I'm open though. I'm open.
I think also because you want Chiana for yourself.
A little bit. But like Chiana, Matala, just
You have a type.
well, that's the thing. They're very different.
Not sure it's a healthy type.
They're very different, but also very similar. So I don't know. I think I don't know. I like a woman that could beat the shit out of me, okay? Not that I want that to happen. I mean, oh fuck, talk about digging.
And again, Josh is giving this is very interesting.
Oh God, help
Shall
me.
we get out the couch? Well, no, I was going with therapist and your eyebrows are making it weird.
So you can find me on Twitter at Lack of Surprise One.
Yes, that's what we do.
But oh my God, yes, please wrap this damn thing up. I'm on Instagram. It's my name. Go find me. Sara has a very good YouTube channel.
It's great. It's really good.
Thank you. Costume Codex on YouTube and Bluestock and Sara on Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lack of Surprise One. I'm on Discord, Instagram, all that stuff. You can
This
find
was
me.
this was our fundraising episode. So now that you've sat through this, you want to subscribe to our Patreon, I'm sure.
Guys, we have officially broken ourselves.
We shall see if I can make any sense of this episode and how it compares to the utter chaos that was our Vita Mortis episode.
Yeah, have fun with the editing.
Yeah,
we didn't
this
get any
edit is gonna be
comments.
wild.
We never got any answers as to what people thought Dargo tasted like. What weird questions shall we ask? Should we ask our watchers this time around?
I
think we're good.
touching that. Yeah, no.
He's wise to my bait now.
I ain't touching that one either. Oh God.
Okay, so it's probably time that we ended this insanity.
Yeah.
So next episode is called Home on the Remains.
Oh, okay.
Anybody have any ideas about what might be in that one?
Home. It's gonna be on like a ranch or something. Cowboys and I don't know.
Okay.
Space skeletons.
Space skeletons, space cowboys.
Space cowboy skeletons.
Space
You
cowboy.
heard it here first.
Yep.
The following episode after Home on the Remains will be Dream a Little Dream. And it is after that we'll be Out of Their Minds, for which we will be reacting and for which we will be joined by Ren.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Ren the Barbarian.
Wonderful.
Yes, Ren the Barbarian.
All right.
So, yes. Any predictions for Dream a Little Dream?
Dreams. People are going to get sucked into each other's dreams, and then Freddy Krueger's going to come out and fuck shit up. It's going to be horrific.
What he said.
All righty then.
You heard it here first, folks.
Okay, so yeah, we told you where to find us, and we will be back in 2 weeks, probably. don't know when the Christmas break is going to be.
Oh yeah.
But yes. So yeah, thank you for joining us, friends.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. You can cathart all you want. You can cathart all over this bitch. Just go for it.
Bring it.
Have I mentioned that I'm going to get a whale tattoo? And at the moment, I'm currently extremely tempted to get it on my fucking arse.
I love the way you say arse. That was great. You embracing your Scottish roots there, arse.
Yeah. I don't know, because jackasses keep insisting on commenting on my on other videos of mine in order to call me a whale and comment on my opinions about that. And I actually kind of like whales. I'm not actually going to get it on my house because I want to be able to see it. But I'm thinking about getting 2 humpbacks and calling them George and Gracie.
Nice.
I like that.
Classic.
We'll show you Star Trek 4 sometimes, and you'll understand.
I've seen the Vija one. I think that's the first one.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, that's the boring one.
And like
with the giant butthole.
Giant space butthole. I was about to say that. And I liked the idea of Vija, but then it's just so boring. And then that panning shot at the beginning that spends like 7 minutes just going around the Enterprise. It's like, what? It's like they saw 2001: A Space Odyssey and were like, yeah.
No,
that is exactly what happened.
That's what Robert Wise thought he was doing. Yeah.
Let us put the Kubrick aesthetic that we don't understand in a blender with a mediocre episode of Star Trek.
It was reasonably pretty, but so
and
boring.
Produce ship porn. But it's worth it for the lower deck send up of that.
Oh, okay. Anyway, Farscape.
Farscape.